Hello, everyone. It's Michaela. How are you? We are here again today with a little bit of a wild hair day. We'll get that dealt with in a moment, but for a live Joy of Tarot. So let me see if I can get my dear friend at the Feel Better group. Get my good friend in here. Miss Lisa, are you getting invited? Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Fabulous. How are you doing?
It's a hair day up here. Good. I'm looking in my mirror here going, wow, my hair's all kinds of wild. But that's okay. We're not here for hair. I love it.
Exactly. This is not a hair video. There's not going to be a lot of hair going on.
No. See, look at all this hair. So how are you? I miss you. What's happening?
I know we haven't seen each other in so long. It just didn't seem to work out, but it's so nice to see you again. I love, by the way, this Chief Joy Officer that you sent to me. Tell me more about that.
Okay.
I want to.
Here's my big excitement, my big news for now. So, as you know, I met Lisa at a 5-star event with an organization called Big, right? We had this wonderful connection, and I kind of had known about Big and gotten to know the group and the organizer, the founder, Tara, and through a couple of different projects that we worked on, we had an opportunity to where I had a gift I needed to bring. She had space that needed a gift like mine in Big. And so I'm bringing what I do in my organization, which is Joy Inc. I'm a life coach, my ability to empower individuals to be their greatest good. I'm going to bring that now to Big and work with the leadership team to help the leaders of the pods bring that empowerment forward to increase and boost the membership experience. So I am super duper excited. It is one of those, like, you know, Tara and I have talked a lot about a lot of things, and we just had this kismet moment of, well, wait a minute, you have a need, I have a desire.
I can do something with that.
We can do something with this. So we've been working on it for the past, while. I don't even know how long, but so I will be joining the ranks of the HQ team at Big, which is Believe, Inspire, Grow, as you know, and seeing what I can do to help women become stronger, happier, healthier versions of themselves, because that's what I want to do.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm pretty stoked about it.
Yes.
Pretty stoked about it. So thank you. I appreciate it. It'll be nice to be a part of such a great group.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, I didn't know that you weren't part of Big. I thought you were a part. You just happened to be at that expo.
I went to the expo just with Tara as an opportunity to work with her, and we were dealing with some crossover on a different project, and it was really kind of nice to see what she did in that space. So she invited me just as an opportunity.
Got it.
So I was an honorary Big member that day. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, which I think that's such a beautiful part of the Big experience, is that it's not selective, right? Like, we just want women to come together and to grow. It's not an in and out type thing, right? Like, it's come, welcome, bring your gifts, bring your opportunities, bring your needs, and let's work together to create a community to inspire beyond that.
Exactly. Very recently I was just talking about with somebody about the idea of what our gifts are. And we tend to think that our gifts are something that has to do with a career that it's going to build, right? Or a place that we should go, or this feeling of purpose is connected with a job. Whereas really our gifts, some of the bigger gifts that we have nothing to do with a career, have nothing to do with a job, have nothing to do, it has to do with like how you interact with people, how the things that you share with them that you really love to do. There are things that people can do in this world that I can't even start to come close to thinking about doing. And here they come up and they show me something that they've sewn, or they've knit, or they've crocheted, and it's this beautiful thing. And like, that's a real gift. Just because no one's paying you for it, that's like a really that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist as a real, true inspiration that you can share with other people. right?
You're so right. And I feel like I love how this happens because the conversations that we start to have in our little live sessions here are always tied, almost always tied to the things I'm talking about in my real time conversations. Because especially in the past few weeks, talked a lot about, I always talk about values, right? Like what's most important to you, right? Like where do you put your time, energy, love, resources?
Yeah.
Because those are the most important resources. Money is renewable. And if we are, right, like time and energy is not. So if we're spending our time focusing all of our energy on one metric, which is how much money do we have, where ergo, this means I'm
Right.
successful, right? All the other metrics go out the window and become useless. But when we look at it and say, okay, I know I need to make money, right? Like we live in a world where it's not an option, feasibly, comfortably, without a lot of, living off the grid. You need money, right?
Yeah.
And it's a capitalistic society and people just keep wanting more and more. And that's where I say we have to slow down and have enough so that we have the time to explore our gifts, right?
Yeah.
Like I I really had a wonderful opportunity last week. I was on the Hunterdon County Chamber Radio podcast, Taking Care of Business with Jim Gano. Wonderful conversation. And this man has gifts beyond gifts beyond gifts that he bestows to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And while, I mean, I could make the argument that his business, which is a trophy business,
Mm-hmm.
like plaques and stuff, he does a lot of community outreach in that way. But his business is the thing he does to fuel all of the other passions he has in life.
Mm-hmm.
The way that he serves the world, the way that he uses his voice and his gifts and his talents to really make a big difference. And he runs a highly successful, highly profitable business. So it's like we can have more than one metric to tell us that we're okay, and it doesn't have to all be I don't know, the go and drive toward the almighty dollar, because that will come and that is important. But if that's the most important thing, all of our other gifts, all the precious little things that we are here to stay curious about and to explore, they get pushed down.
Yeah.
And that takes away really what we're here to do.
So of course I picked a card because I said we're talking about tarot today. So the card that came up while we were having this conversation.
I love it.
Right. So the world is about the completion of a cycle, the success of a cycle. But one of the things that it talks about in the world is the idea that things don't happen until they're ripe. Mm-hmm. And when you find yourself struggling to make them happen, then you have to recognize you have to step back, because you're attached to an outcome as opposed to allowing what is happening in this moment to be perfect, right? This moment, whatever it is perfect. It may even take you away from this thing that you've just completed, right? You may have just only needed to complete that part, whatever it was, and then it was time for the universe to take you on a different path for you to keep on your joyful path, right? And so the idea is that things happen when they get ripe. Don't try to pick the apple before it's grown. And when you know that you're doing that, right? You can't eat an apple that's not grown. It's just sitting there. It needs to grow. Oh,
that's interesting.
Right?
Yep.
Like, so when you feel yourself struggling to get something to happen, step back and see if maybe you're trying to make things happen before it's right. And what you can do is literally just step back, and instead of thinking that you're not successful, once you start thinking you're not successful, you give yourself that feeling, right? Yeah. You don't want to give yourself that feeling, because no matter what you get from in the outside world, you're not going to feel a feeling of success if you don't have that inside of you, right? You can have all of the money and all of the toys and all of the recognition, but if you don't have that feeling of success within you, you're not going to feel like you're a success. So you're going to look for more things outside of you to be able to validate yourself. So one of the things I would say
You're so right. I love it. It's so perfect.
If I could lead people through just a 20-second thing, if you would be the person representing everybody, is what you want to be able to feel is a feeling of success within you. So start by first Notice where you are. Wherever you are, try to get into a nice position, right? With your feet on the floor and yourself sitting or standing, whatever it is. Allow your eyes to lower or close wherever you are. Make sure you're comfortable. So keep them open if you need to. But this is what I want you to do. I want you to connect first with your breath. Just feel the breath going in and out through your nose. Feel yourself sitting in the chair that you're sitting in, or feel yourself standing wherever it is. Just start to recognize yourself being in this place. And then I want you to ask yourself this question. What would it feel like if I felt absolutely 100% successful in what I'm trying to do? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. I want you to reach for the feeling within you of success. How would it feel to you to have success that you're looking for? How would it feel to you to be in that place of completion of the world, to feel the ripeness, to pick the apple? How wonderful would that feel? I want you to feel it, and I want you to allow that feeling to grow in you. Allow yourself to feel how lovely, how grounding, how stabilizing, how beautiful, how orderly it would feel to have success in this particular, whatever it is that you're working on. Just feel it for a moment more. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back. It took 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And it felt really, really nice.
Doesn't it feel? How do you guys going to say? How do you feel? You
Good.
feel?
Was
yes.
I smiling?
Yes.
At one point, I felt like it was.
You were.
Up.
You were, and that's bringing yourself the inner feeling of success. So you don't need the outer things to start piling up, because you can never bridge that gap. The things on the outside are never going to make you feel successful on the inside. But if you start to feel success on the inside, it's going to start attracting the things on the outside. One by one, they're going to start coming. So practice this. I tell people to practice first thing in the morning, before you get out of bed, before you've started your thinking, right? And the last thing at night, before you go to sleep. 20 seconds. Feel how lovely it would feel to feel success in the way that you want it. And just see what happens in your life. Try the experiment. See what happens in your life.
And I think it's so too important to, like, there were bite-sized pieces that I was seeing and grabbing and indulging in, right? In that very short, brief period of time, which is a reminder of life's brief moments, right? So how can I take those brief moments, that little snippet of, right? And okay, like, because I think we so very much want to drive forward to success because we think it's a thing,
and we think,
right?
it's linear ending, right? We don't understand
like
that it goes around and it circles, and exactly, it is not. You don't push through to it. You complete into it. You allow yourself to feel the feeling of complete success, of complete completion, of ripeness, and allow the ripeness to happen so that you don't push yourself through it. Don't impatience yourself into missing, right?
Well, that's it. When you we need to climb the hill, right? So we need to be able to, like, get up and, like, push and trudge and endure through things to get where we want to go in life, right? So this isn't meant to be like an easy thing, but it's not supposed to be hard, right? Like, if we find ourselves constantly pulling against the tide, if we find ourselves constantly streaming towards something that doesn't feel that beautiful feeling I just had, we have to step back and say, why are we doing this? Right? Like, am I here looking to pursue this career, this lifestyle, this role, this thing, this idea, whatever the thing may be, because I really want that, or because I think I want that? Is it I make this particular lifestyle choice because I want it, or because my parents told me when I was a kid that was the way to be successful, or they told me it wasn't, right?
Exactly. We get programmed into those things. We don't even know those programs are in us. They're so deeply in us that we think that this is success, when maybe that really isn't what's success for us.
I have one of my clients whom I absolutely adore. She's just this fiery ball of beauty. She's magic. We have the conversation a lot of whose ladder are you climbing?
Yeah.
Right? Like when we
Yeah,
look
that's
at
nice.
moving up in the world, moving up in a corporate world, moving up in any organization, if you will. And it's whose ladder are you climbing? And who built that ladder? Who told you it was a good idea? Who told you it was safe for you? Who told you that somewhere up at the top was something better? And when you get there, are the people up there your people? You know, like, are
Exactly.
they
That's so true. That are
are
these
they
people
your
your people?
people?
That's so helpful
Are
to
you
look around and go,
going?
are these people who are having conversations that I want to have? Do I
Exactly. Are
really want to talk this
exactly.
every single day?
Exactly. The people at that table, do they not even look like me, right? Like, let's
Yeah.
take all that out. Let's go to the inner part. But do they vibrate like I do? Do I want to spend my time in that space? Will it be, a value add or a value drain? Like,
Yeah.
so
And
so
make
whose
that,
ladder are you climbing
exactly.
and why?
Exactly. Make it an energetic decision,
Mhm.
not a decision based on something up here, but
Right.
based on what feels right to you. Not
Correct.
right in terms of right and wrong or good and bad.
Correct.
It's not a moral judgment. It's a judgment of, I have from my inner wisdom, from my own higher guidance coming through to me, this feeling of something that's going to feel right if I do it. It doesn't make sense. It might not be logical. People might make fun of me because they're like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? It feels right to me. That's the thing you honor, because you take that step, feels right to you. You then ask her, okay, what's the next step that feels right to me,
Yeah.
right? You don't make one decision now for the next 20
Correct.
years, or even
Lord, I hope
next
not.
week, right? It's
If I
what
was
is it?
stuck in all my decisions from 20 years ago,
Can you
oh
even
my goodness.
imagine? Oh, the misery.
Well, and it's like, isn't that the point, right? Don't we want to keep growing? Don't
Yeah.
we want to keep changing? Like, I've got like 20 ladders I'd like to climb, and I have jumped off ladders before. Not carelessly. I'm not, talking about like just go quit your jobs, friends, but we put a lot of effort into the work we do to feel successful and to feel satisfied. Sometimes we don't know how to separate the two, but really, we are here to write our own journey, to build our own ladder, even if it's on, if we're borrowing parts and pieces from other people, awesome. But in my practice, it's always, I don't ask me my opinion, because then I'm going to be another person just telling you what's best for you. And the only person that knows what's best for you is you. The reason we have these conversations about misguided efforts towards success is because the rest of the world and all the noise tells us how to do, be, think, feel, etc., to get to that feeling of success.
Exactly.
And again, to go back to the beginning of the conversation, our country is a capitalistic society where the only metric is, your money and how you impact the world in that way. And if that were the case, I mean, my husband would tell you, if I had my druthers, I would have like all the degrees so I could do all the pro bono work for all the people who need all the things, right? That's what I would love to do, but I live in a world where we have to do that differently. I'm fortunate that I found a way, right, to utilize my gifts and skills in a continued effort for service without putting us, under a bridge with all of our boxes or something, which, I'm not saying that never may happen, but like, here we are today, fortunate not to. And but I think it's important to identify that I personally had to change what I thought was successful. For me, I've had a lot of different measures of success, but spending time 10 years in my family business was incredibly wonderful and powerful. But for the longest time, I was doing it for not the most authentic reasons, right? Some of my ego, some of my desires, some of my, needs as a mom were playing in. And I had to jump off that ladder, right? It was a strong, beautiful ladder, fourth generation ladder. Like, it's legit, but it
By
just
the way,
wasn't
none
my
of that
all the
was
way
wrong.
ladder. No.
None of that was wrong. It was perfect for
All
you
to
to
get
be able
here.
to get to the next thing. So like
100%.
it's very easy to think, oh, I made this decision like back then, and I can't believe I did the wrong. It was never a wrong decision. There are no wrong decisions.
No.
You just take it and you learn from it, and you decide, am I going to go on my joyful path, right, or am I going to go on my misery path? And I'm going to be on that misery path as long as I need to, until I say I'm done with that and I'm moving into joy.
I'm living proof, because it was it was bad. The job my situation with the job was bad for the time that I was seeing it as such,
Yeah.
right? For the time where I wasn't engaged to say, I'm learning something here. Where will this take me? How do I do this? And it was that point of, you know what? This is not good for anybody anymore. You know, nobody is winning here. And I mean, and it was a very strategic thing, right? Like this was like a 3-year decision and a lot of strategy to build in all the things so that I could transition out without major disruption.
Yeah.
But it was because I said, wait a minute, this is like going to college and getting a degree in business and marketing and all of the things and family, you know, management, so that I can move forward and do the next thing.
Yeah.
But I had to kind of have that, this is bad experience to go through that so that now I can help coach people beyond that.
Exactly.
Right. I was there, I saw it, and it's like, oh, I get it now.
You wouldn't know it had you not gone through it to be able to then help other people do it. And sometimes that's really like, in a sense, you're called to go through this, to get over it, so you can help other people
100%.
go through it and get over it, right?
So my coach tells me every week when I'm like, with whatever the thing, and she's like, you are going to do great work with this, with your people. I'm like,
you are. You absolutely
But
are.
I think that's the part, right? Like we have to live the life, right? And if my life looked like that straight, easy journey, that doesn't look like a lot of experience to help other people. But we have to go through life, and it's not all happy, right? It's not all fun and bubbles and glitter. As you know, I love my glitter, but life can be difficult, and life can be low, and life can be troublesome. But it's the ability to say, how do I learn from this? How do I grow from this? And here recently, getting to that clarity of, oh, this is being in my lane, and I like it, and I'm going to go with that. And that required tough decisions. It was a lot of thinking and challenging and putting perspective to a lot of pieces. But you know, working with big feels very much in my lane. This is the direction I want to go, and a place that I want to use my gifts. And I want to help other people 100% figure out what theirs are. And when people say I am a blank and they tell me their profession, I go, great. But who are you? What are you really? Tell me more. Because like that's just that one tiny little piece.
Exactly.
So I look forward to a whole lot of that.
So I'm gonna just, I know we only have a few more minutes left, but I just want to finish this idea.
Okay.
But this is the first card in the deck, the Fool, right? When you don't know what's happening, you don't know where you're going. We just had that one. We just had that one. This is the last card in the deck, right? Now, they actually go together in this way, right? This is the beginning of the cycle. This is the end of the cycle. But then there's something even more, is that you see in the Fool, he's about to fall off this cliff, right? That's what we do. We go into this world and we fall off this cliff or jump off this cliff. And he learns how to have faith on the way down. And what happens, he goes through the whole deck, right? All of the other symbolic images, right? And he ends up here as this being who's floating, right? So he thinks he's going to fall or he's jumping off. And as he gains all of the skill and the wisdom throughout the deck, he learns how to basically just be suspended in midair, how to fly.
That's really cool.
Isn't that cool? So that just
you can't learn how to fly until
you've learned how to have faith, until you've really said, you know what, this I'm going with what feels right, and I'm gonna just have faith in it. And I know it's going to sometimes fall apart, and then sometimes work out, and then sometimes fall apart and sometimes work out. And I am just going to. I heard a Robert De Niro reel once that was really good. He said, things are going to fall apart. Just stay calm. Things are going to go exactly the way you want them to. Just stay calm. Don't bring yourself off balance for either one of them. Keep yourself in a calm and balanced and beautiful and orderly way.
That's where joy is.
That's where joy is. Exactly. That's exactly it. And if you want success, bring yourself the feeling of success and watch how that changes everything in your life as you start to feel more successful. Just the feeling of success. You don't need to change anything on the outside. Just keep practicing feeling that success. It's going to start lifting you up, literally bringing you up into this place of suspension where the other things that are difficult to deal with, of course they're difficult to deal with, but you say, you know what, I am connected to the high vibration of the things that inspire me. And so I can take care of these things without any problem. I am not a small person. I'm beyond keeping myself small and thinking I can't handle this difficulty. I'm beyond thinking that I can't find my way through, because this inspiration is leading me.
I love it.
It's beautiful, isn't it? I know.
I could just
So nice.
listen to you talk all day.
And me too. I know, that's why we do this. This is why we do this.
I know. I didn't even realize the time. Yeah, that was great. I mean, even you just saying, picture the success or whatever, but
Feel.
that
You
sweet feel that beautiful cadence. Like I could feel it, like energized. I'm like, oh, that feels so nice.
Exactly. And that's the energy that you want. That inspiration. Inspiration lifts you up. It's not a luxury to go and do things or bring things to you that inspire you. It is absolutely a necessity. It's critical. Exactly. It is essential. If you do not have that inspiration, and then your energy goes down and you get right into the muck of everyday life. And this is the way, just find something to inspire you. You come above it. You're like, it's the same issue that you had 5 minutes ago, but it doesn't matter anymore. You're like, you know what? Let the universe take it. They're going to figure it out for me. I'm going to keep going with my inspiration and what feels right.
I love that. And for those of you who are like me that get caught up and busy in doing the day, I use a Pomodoro timer, which is essentially a fancy word for 25-minute timer and then a 5-minute break and then a 25-minute timer. So whatever you're doing, do the thing for 25 minutes and then take the 5-minute break. And in that 5-minute break, it can't have anything to do with what you're doing, no work, right? So that's your 5 minutes of inspiration, where you do deep breathing, drink a lot of water, go outside and spin in a circle, or whatever you've got to do to shift the energy, to pull it back together. Take this 2-minute visualization of success. What am I doing in the 25 minutes I just did? Let's celebrate that. You just did all your emails that you could in 25 minutes. Way to go. But it's taking that separation and shifting the energy so that there's a little time to go, oh, I do have time for some inspiration.
Yes.
I do have a few minutes to dig into my toolbox of tips and tricks. Maybe it's a piece of delicious chocolate, or maybe it's just a ton of water, or maybe it's phoning a friend and saying hi that you haven't talked to in a few minutes. But that's a great way for me to make sure that in my day, I'm not just go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And while I love my career, I love the work that I do, it is my passion, my gift, I still have to pause in that space and shift and reframe and do something different, so that when I come back, my mental energy and my creativity and my brain is ready for the thing I'm about to do. So Pomodoro timer, there are apps for it. I have one, it's really cute, and it like ticks when I want it to, and it's quiet when I don't, but it just has a nice little alarm, and it's a great visual and a great help to keep me moving during the day and to allow time for some of that inspiration.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Tips and tricks.
Tips and tricks.
What else is happening for you? Anything new and exciting in your world before we close out today?
Let me see. So what am I doing? I've just been I've been doing expos. I've been going to like lots of the Women's Forum in Richfield. I did a thing up at Western Connecticut University, had a health and wellness day, so I went up to that. And just basically what I do is I just bring the cards and I call people over and I say, you pick a card and let's talk for a moment. And that's, I just love doing that. That's just so much fun.
It is powerful. That's how you won me over.
I know, it's very powerful. I mean, these are just symbols of wisdom. That's all it is, right? It's an ancient mystic wisdom that is put into a symbolic language, and every single one of them is always relevant to us. It's just what's the one. And one of the reasons I like tarot is because, one, it helps people not take life so seriously, because it's a little bit of the game, right? Of what
kind of a gamble, right?
Right,
like,
exactly. And then it also has the element of recognizing or experiencing for one moment that nothing happens by accident, right? Even the picking of the card, you are being directed yourself into which card to pick, right? It's nothing that I do. I'm just sitting there waiting for which is the one that is the one that you need to know about. So it brings like levity, but it also gives an example or gives an actual experience of noticing that there's nothing in this world that happens by accident. If you walk out your door from here and you think every single moment here is happening on purpose, whatever it is, I still have free will to make a choice, but the things that are happening on purpose. How would that change your life to recognize that the universe is trying to actually always get you to go over to your joyful path, right? Or it's trying to give you a challenge so that you can raise your whole level of vibration up. You're never going to have an end of challenges. You're always going to have them. It's just they're going to get easier. You're going to have that same issue come back again, right? Whatever it is, like the way you had, or you're in a relationship with somebody, or the way that you deal with authority, whatever, it's going to come back again. But you, as you master yourself in that situation, are going to be able to raise above where you were before. It will be a different level of interaction and a different level of understanding with it as you go through that.
And that's such an important thing to kind of like underscore as we finish, right? Because I think for you and I to have conversations like this, people might be like, wow, it's really great, you guys have figured this all out. But it's it's
real. Yeah.
Like, I know this because I do it every day, right? And for me, I still get upset. I still overreact. I still get hyper anxious. But where it used to be like this, right? Now it's like right?
Now I'm going to come back.
Maybe one day it'll just kind of like, whatever, right? But the idea is it's less traumatic because I have come to understand. I'm Robert De Niro. It's going to get wonky. It's going to get beautiful. I'm just going to try to stay in the middle. I expect these things. I used to live in a world. I remember, haven't I done enough, God?
Yeah.
Haven't I learned enough? Like this whole kind of like, I should be there thing. Yeah. So like, stop torturing me.
You put yourself in that victim mentality that you have become the victim of these things. It's not at all. You lose all of your power. Correct. You bring all your whole energy down, and you can't get to success energy, right? If you're feeling like a victim. Correct. Those two energies are too far apart.
You know, and the thing I go to most right there is when I was pregnant with my son, and at 20 weeks we found out that he was going to have a cleft lip and palate, and I was totally shaken, right? And I had that conversation of, really, God, like, haven't I been a good enough, kind enough, generous enough person in this life to have this one thing? And when I was able to really move through it, and it took time and it took a lot of people helping, but it became because I've been this kind and generous person, I can handle it. Yeah. I can give him what he needs. I can offer him the love and the consistency that he will need to move through this, because I've shown over time I'm capable of that, and that is part of my gift. It's not a punishment. Yeah. I get to be his thing. Yeah. Right? I get to be his gift and help him move through this with less trauma, because not everybody could have or would have done it in the same way that I did. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's not a horn toot. It's just it's grateful I had the resources and the tools and the internal stuff to do that. But it's that reframing. I could have continued looking at it as a punishment to me, right? What would that have done to his experience? Yeah. Oh,
changed his whole entire life. Changed his whole entire. Exactly.
Right. And that's how we have to look at it, right? So we can go forward thinking that success looks like our children are going to be born without any issues. Our lives are going to move forward without any obstacles. Our careers are going to bring us straight to the success path.
That's not how it's going to go. It's just,
and you know what? I don't want it to. I want to have my one wild and unique and precious life written by me, uniquely created by me, with all of its mess and bumps. That's it. Because that's what's happening.
Yeah. And, every enlightened being on the planet also had real issues up till their last breath. I mean, we'll just use Buddha because he's an easy one and a little bit quiet. He was accidentally poisoned by one of his followers, food poison. He didn't mean to. He was making him a meal.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that something fell in, and that was it.
Wow.
Absolutely. And he's like, okay, I know this is going to be the end. That's a pretty big challenge to know that you're going to die in I don't know how many hours or whatever it is. And here he is saying, okay, this is the last challenge that I have in this form. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go off balance with it. I'm just going to, I have worked all my whole life to get to this place where I am able to just say, okay, that's what is for me right now.
Yeah. Success in that moment is just making it through with content in your heart, I guess.
Remaining calm. Exactly.
Acceptance, I guess, is what the Buddha would say. And we struggle so hard against that, right? Okay, so you're food poisoned. There's no solution. Shall I use all of my energy to fight against the idea that I have food poisoning, or should I like move into it, right? So acceptance in this way is not just like blind being passive. It's being fully aware of what you can accomplish, are capable of, and has value, right? And then moving with the rest of it, you know?
Yeah.
So much to learn from all these wonderful sages.
I know. They're fabulous. They're fabulous. They're great to hang out with.
No doubt.
All right.
No doubt.
It's very
awesome.
nice to see you again. Well, thank you very much for this time.
It's been wonderful. And as I said through text earlier, my allergies have taken me down. Like I feel all the things. So I was really looking forward to this little energy exchange. It's always so revitalizing, and I get so curious, and that really fuels me. And so I'm excited for the rest of my day to move forward with energy and curiosity,
me too.
and constantly defining and experiencing what success is in this moment.
Sounds beautiful to me. Mwah. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all. I appreciate everyone for showing up.
Who joined us.
And we'll catch you in 2 weeks for another live Joy of Tarot. Follow along at My Joy Coach, that's me, and the Feel Better group, that's Lisa. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care and make it a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.